Okay, everybody, let's do a little summary on the lesson today. So, we've been talking about functions. We did a little bit of a mathia on functions. And so today what we talked about is that we're going to create our own. They're going to give us some descriptors, and then we're going to create a graph. So, and things we have to talk about is also its equation. So first of all, this graph, we know we got to make a function. It's got to be exponential, continuous, and decreasing. Well, okay, I know it's exponential, it's got to be decreasing, so I just drew this graph. Now, it doesn't give me any more specific things, it doesn't say where to start, so I just started at 100, because then I could take half of that, 50, I could take half of that, 25, half of that, 12 and a half, so that I could draw an exponential that's continuous, okay? Now, the equation I picked, and we could have been a lot of different things, is 100 times 1/2, because I took half, to the x power, because that makes it an exponential, okay? All right, again, I picked these numbers, but it had to be function, continuous, exponential, and decreasing. Okay, so then we went to number 2, and this is what we had. It had to be linear, it has to be straight, discrete, so I'd use dots. It has to be increasing of functions. Okay, so then to make it easy, I went dot, 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 to make it discrete. It is straight. The equation I have is y equals a 1 over 1x, up 1 over 1, up 1 over 1, up 1 over 1. It has a y-intercept of 1, so it's y equals a 1 over 1x plus 1. And then I had to say that it was an integer function, so I'd get the dots, okay? 3, create an equation and sketch the graph with these characteristics, not a function, okay? It's got to be continuous, straight line. So then Cordy said, how about a vertical line? I'm like, yeah, that's exactly right. I chose 3. We could have put the vertical line anywhere. We did that. So an equation of x equals 3 would give me a non-function linear straight line. Now, how could I make it more, it says, how could you modify the directions for any graph to make it more of a unique graph? I'd say, well, if we had a starting point, so if they told us to set a 3, if they gave us a number like 5 or whatever, if we had a starting point, then that would certainly make it, if we had a starting point like maybe 50, it would make it much more unique. But we didn't give those. But if I gave it a starting point, it would make the directions much more specific. I'd have more of a specific graph on all of these, okay? So then we turned the page, and we looked at these graphs, okay? So I said, okay, create a function. Okay, so I drew a quadratic, okay? And then, so we created this, we called it quadratic, and then I asked my partner, it was Cordy, and she said, how about an absolute value? So we just made 2 different graphs. That's all we really needed to do it. So characteristics, I would have said I wanted a quadratic, I wanted it to have a minimum at 0, -4, and I want it to be concave up, and so we got it from there, okay? Cordy would have said absolute value. She said we want to have a minimum at 0, 0, and then we'd say decreasing, then increasing. Hi guys, come on in.
Thank you for teaching 2 classes.
Yes.
You're welcome.
That was very nice.
Everybody say hi, because I'm going to stop the recording.
Hi. Hi.
Okay, that's
What class is this?
that's algebra.
Algebra.
Yes.
Algebra stuff.
I'm teaching you the next period.